What's up, guys? We're finally here at 18.5, the last open announcement for the 2018 CrossFit Open Series. And I'm Logan McNeely, creator of Weakness Wod, again bringing you guys your tips and strategy video for the movements you're gonna see at 18.5. It's a repeat, 11.6, 3, 6, 9, adding 3 reps as much as possible or as many times as possible of thrusters and chest to bar pull-ups in 7 minutes. So it's a quick one, but it can also be detrimental if we start off a little too fast, all right? So overall strategy for this workout, a couple things I want you guys to think about here. First of all is transitions. Obviously, when we saw the girls just do their 18.5, you saw how transitions really made a big difference in, let's say, Sarah's movement versus Annie's movement, right? Obviously, if you have a faster transition, once you get off the pull-up bar, right onto the bar, grab it, go, you're gonna be able to breathe through that movement versus staring at the bar, grabbing it, taking a couple extra breaths, not wanting to pick it up. It's one of those things, you gotta get down, you gotta put your hands on it and start moving before you want to, all right? Think about moving faster, quicker. As you saw, whenever they were going through this workout, they didn't break up a round until their 18 round. So they did 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, all unbroken, and then finally broke at that 18 round mark. And they broke on their thrusters first, and then also had to break on the chest to bars as well. Maybe some of that was grip fatigue, maybe some of that was just breathing, legs, shoulders, who knows really what that was that set them to that point that they had to start breaking, but it's something to think about, all right? As you're going through these reps. And all right, we picked this one, we knew it was gonna hurt, 7 minutes. It's a time cap that you know is gonna hurt because it's not gonna be so long you can pace it out, and it's not gonna be so short that you know it's gonna be over in 3 minutes, right? 7 minutes is that hurt zone. So you gotta be able to go hard, but not too hard where you burn out so fast, all right? Know that going in, that this one's gonna hurt. To be able to go further, you gotta put up with a little bit more pain. And think about this, it's not necessarily pain, but it's just discomfort, all right? The more discomfort you can control, the more discomfort you can have for this workout, the better you're gonna end up doing. As bad as it sounds, but CrossFit community, we picked it. Essentially, what your job is to do is to think about the gas pedal on a car is this workout. Essentially, you don't wanna hit the gas too hard at the very beginning because it's gonna come back and bite you at the butt during a 7-minute workout, right? 7 minutes is short in relative terms, but you can definitely blow your gas too soon, hitting that 3, 6, 9, maybe coming out a lot too hot, and then eventually it catches up with you and there's just no place to catch your breath unless you're literally stopping. So your goal is to find that threshold of how fast you can push the pace, at least for the first 3 to 4 minutes, but still pushing off that fatigue. And then after that 3 to 4 minutes, that's when you gotta start literally pushing that threshold further and further and further, trying to hit that gas a little bit further towards the ground so you can see how fast and how far you can go in this workout. The biggest tip you can think about here is breathing through your reps. So as you're doing your thruster, you saw Katrin do this pretty damn good. As she was coming up for her rep, when that bar was overhead, ribs expanded, she kind of held the bar there for a split second, got a deep breath, and then brings it back down, versus dropping the bar, taking 2 or 3 more breaths and then squat cleaning it back up, right? She held it up top. I recommend a lot of people always focus on breathing. If you start to lose your breath fast, think about, I'm gonna breathe at the top every single rep and then come back down and reset for that following rep, all right? So just make it a really strong front squat, breathe out at the top, and then relax back down or bring that bar back down. Obviously, if you're a higher end athlete, you're gonna wanna probably be pulling that bar back down so that way you can just get that rep done faster, right? You should have the capacity to be able to do that. Now, like I kind of said overall with that pace, what we wanna think about is that we're not just staring at the bar. So once you come off your pull-up bar and you go back for the thrusters, try to think about, I'm just gonna put my hands on the bar, I'm gonna clean it, and I'm gonna go. The more you think about, okay, I'm gonna bend over, all right, I'm gonna put my hands on the bar, okay, now I'm gonna pull it up, it's gonna take you that much longer. And in your brain, it feels like it's fast when you're in the middle of the workout, but it's gonna be 5, 10 seconds later before you actually pick that bar up and go, all right? You can go back and watch films from previous open workouts to just see that happen in person. As you saw Annie do really good, which I recommend, is that first rep on your squat clean, essentially, or the first rep to start off your thruster, is to think about not standing up all the way. So when you're going for that first rep, as you pull the bar up, instead of getting nice and tall extension, the weight's not really heavy. You're gonna pull yourself under. So you're not gonna stand tall like a normal heavier squat clean would be, all right? Your goal is to just get it high enough to where you can drop right under it and then squat and press it up, right? If it's light enough for you, you should be able to do that for sure. Now, when we're talking about chest to bar pull-ups, all right, you wanna think about re-gripping almost every rep if you can, especially when your grip starts to fatigue. So thinking about if your knuckles and your hands are over the bar, as soon as you pull the chest of the bar and you're starting to kind of come through and back down, or if you're doing a kipping chest to bar pull-up, your chest hits. As you're going away, you're trying to turn your knuckles a little bit further over that bar each rep. So as you're coming through, even if your grip starts to slide back a little bit, as you're throwing your chest up, you're re-gripping just a little bit further over each rep. If you watch them do that and they get a kind of close-up when they're doing their chest to bars, you're gonna see them kind of constantly throwing their hands and their knuckles a little bit further over the bar. So do that to try and keep your grip. It's such a short time domain, but at the same time, you want to be able to push off that fatigue, at least for the first 4 minutes. Towards those last 2-3 minutes, that's when you can kind of start pushing that pace and that threshold on losing the grip. Maybe that's when you take smart breaks. Obviously, they got into round 18 before they started breaking. I would suggest you start breaking before that, right? Obviously, they're some of the 3 fittest women in the world. They have a high capacity for this. They've probably trained a lot of thrusters and pull-up type motions together. So what I want you guys to think about is maybe on that 12 and that 15, maybe you start breaking there, or even earlier if you know that you can go further into the workout by breaking it up sooner versus going bigger sets longer and then maybe not making it as far, all right? Hopefully by now you know yourself as an athlete. Maybe your coach knows you, that's something to ask them. But I want you guys to really think about how you're gonna break it up and when you're gonna break it up, because it's gonna happen sooner or later and you need to know when it's gonna happen, or you can just kind of, like I said, push the threshold, play with it, and then if you redo it again on Monday, now you know, all right, this is where I really need to break it up. Maybe today I'm gonna do it a little bit beforehand. So you can redo this one as long as it's not super taxing on your body, you don't rip your hands. That's another key thing, using grips. I highly recommend Victory grips. I have the leather and the stealth, they're both really awesome. I've never ripped in my palm actually with those grips on, so they're amazing. I highly recommend Victory grips. The last big thing about chest to bars that really helps people is to think about scapular retraction, all right? So if I go to do my chest to bar pull-up and I just pull my elbows down, it's gonna start to wear my arms out and my shoulders out a lot more. I need to find a way to get my chest closer to the bar, easier, faster. So I'm gonna do that by pulling my shoulder blades together, kind of pushing my chest out at the bar. All right, so as I'm pulling through, you see those shoulders protract, and then again, we wanna retract them back, so that way we can really squeeze and use our bigger back muscles to help our chest get closer to that bar. Another thing to think about too is if you start off by doing a butterfly chest to bar pull-up at the beginning, that might be great and that might hold you for so long, but eventually you might not be able to keep that technique going. So if you have to break down and start doing kipping chest to bar pull-ups, that's totally fine. Think about that in your head and know when to use that if you need to use that. Now, since this is a very simple workout in the grand scheme of things, right? 2 movements that are very common within the CrossFit realm, the movement patterns are especially. I want you guys to think about the shorter the workout, typically the longer the warm-up needs to be, all right? So that way you can feel what it's like to go through a high-intensity movement pattern of a squat with an overhead press and a upper body pulling, pull-up, chest to bar type of movement. When it comes to mobility, especially for that thruster, that front squat, what I want you guys to think about is doing good amount of squat prep. All right, so think about opening up the hips, trying to get lower in your squat, trying to use the proper muscles to help in the squat. Also the thing about in that front rack position, right? If you know that front rack is hard for you to have, work on really opening up those lats, the shoulders, the chest to allow those elbows to get just a little bit higher, right? So we can take some of that pressure off of your wrists. Overhead position in that thruster. Obviously, you don't have to have your head through. We just need to make sure that that bar is stacked over your shoulder, hip, every place down. So you don't have to get here and throw that head through. If you want to make it a little bit faster, just come right up where your head's nice and even. You don't have to push your head through. Activation is going to be huge in your warm-up. So doing glute activation. A lot of times you can do this with banded walks, banded squats, any type of kind of banded motion that's going to help your glutes, your legs fire just a little bit more. That's awesome. Even some type of unilateral or some anti-rotational movements are going to be good for your core. So maybe doing some single arm farmer carries, getting both sides of your core active, ready to go to hold that bar and to help use that leverage from your core and your hips for that chest to bar. So trying to do some activation on the quads. Obviously, like I said, banded squats are really good, some lunges, some jump squats even, where you're just jumping up and you're trying to get some explosive movement out of your hips, glutes, quads. I want you guys to think about taking those bands that you might have done the banded walks with, pulling them up and getting your upper back and your shoulders nice and ready for the thrusters and the pull-ups. So you could do a bunch of banded pull-aparts, vertical, horizontal. You can even use a crossover symmetry type of banded contraption if you have that, but something to just get your upper back, your shoulders fired up, ready to go for this workout. Obviously, it's a warm-up. We don't want it to be your workout. All right, even thinking about helping to warm up the shoulders in a pressing movement. Maybe that's doing some single arm dumbbell, kettlebell presses on each side, some high pulls. You know what to do to help get your body ready for these movements. I just want you guys to think about the overall warm-up being a little bit longer, activating the proper muscles you're going to be using in the workout, and making sure that you're getting warm. You're maybe sweating just a little bit. You've had an attempt to get your heart rate high, like what you're going to feel within the stimulus of this workout, and then you've allowed it to come back down. All right, guys. Hey, so if you have stuck with us for this long, from 18.1 all the way to 18.5, we got a special offer for you. If you are new to Weakness Wod, you've never experienced our programs, our services, and you'd like to, and you're thinking about taking that step forward, we want to offer you guys something special. If you go to our website and you sign up for any of our programs, the Weakness Wod, the Compete, Gym Plan, we want to give you guys a free month trial. The way you're going to do that is when you go to sign up, you're going to enter in the coupon code in the open. You're going to enter that in. That's going to give you guys a free month subscription to Weakness Wod. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. We got a lot of new things coming up, and I want you guys to stay active, stay with us, and we want to keep you guys in the loop. Good luck for 18.5. Hey, if you guys found some weaknesses, you know where to come to help for next year. Hey guys, good luck.